In the 21st century, the boundaries between reality and virtual reality have increasingly blurred. With the rapid advancement of technology, especially in the fields of artificial intelligence, virtual reality, and computing, an idea that once seemed confined to science fiction has moved into serious academic discourse called the simulation hypothesis. This hypothesis proposes that the reality we experience might be an artificial simulation, similar to a highly sophisticated video game. But how plausible is this notion? Are we really living in a computer-generated reality? In this video, we'll delve into the origins of the simulation hypothesis, examine the arguments supporting and opposing it, explore the profound implications it carries, and try to answer the question, are we living in a computer-generated reality? What are the origins of the simulation hypothesis? The idea that our reality might not be the real reality is not new. Philosophers have grappled with similar concepts for millennia. For instance, in ancient Greece, Plato's Allegory of the Cave suggested that humans might only perceive shadows of the true reality. Similarly, René Descartes, the 17th century philosopher, questioned the nature of reality by proposing the idea of an evil demon that could be deceiving our senses, making us believe in a world that doesn't truly exist. However, the modern formulation of the simulation hypothesis is most closely associated with philosopher Nick Bostrom, who, in 2003, published a groundbreaking paper titled, "Are You Living in a Computer Simulation?" Bostrom's argument is rooted in the exponential growth of computing power and the potential future capabilities of advanced civilizations. Bostrom's argument can be distilled into three possibilities. 1. Almost all civilizations at our level of development go extinct before becoming technologically advanced enough to create simulations. 2. Advanced civilizations with the capability to create simulations choose not to for various reasons, ethical, philosophical, etc. 3. We are almost certainly living in a simulation because if advanced civilizations do create simulations, the number of simulated realities would vastly outnumber the one base reality. Bostrom argues that if the first two possibilities are not true, then the third must be highly likely. Given that the number of potential simulations could be astronomically high, the odds that we are in the one real reality are extremely low. What is the technological argument? One of the strongest arguments in favor of the simulation hypothesis comes from the realm of technology. Consider the evolution of video games over the past few decades. In the early 1970s, video games like Pong consisted of simple two-dimensional graphics. Fast forward to today, and we have immersive, photorealistic virtual environments in games like The Last of Us and Red Dead Redemption 2, where the line between the digital and the real is increasingly difficult to distinguish. As technology continues to advance, particularly in the fields of quantum computing and artificial intelligence, the creation of highly detailed, self-consistent virtual worlds might become possible. In these worlds, inhabitants could have consciousness, emotions, and a sense of self, all while being unaware of their simulated nature. Proponents of the simulation hypothesis argue that if our civilization continues to progress without catastrophic setbacks, we could reach a point where we have the computational power to simulate entire universes, complete with conscious beings. If this is within the realm of possibility for us, it's reasonable to assume that a more advanced civilization could have already achieved this. leading to the conclusion that we might be living in one of their simulations. Some philosophical considerations. The simulation hypothesis raises profound philosophical questions, particularly concerning the nature of consciousness and reality. If we are living in a simulation, what does this say about the concept of free will? Are our thoughts and actions truly our own? Or are they pre-programmed responses within a deterministic framework? Moreover, if we are simulated beings, what does that imply about the existence of a higher reality? Are there multiple layers of reality, each one nested within a more advanced simulation? If so, where does it end? This notion echoes the idea of infinite regress in philosophy, where every explanation requires another layer of explanation. Another philosophical issue is the problem of solipsism, the idea that only one's mind is certain to exist. If the simulation hypothesis is true, it could be argued that other people are merely simulated constructs without true consciousness, further complicating our understanding of empathy, morality, and the nature of the self. And a few scientific perspectives. From a scientific standpoint, there are intriguing arguments both for and against the simulation hypothesis. Some scientists have pointed out that the universe operates according to mathematical laws, much like a computer program. The discovery of the so-called fine-tuning of the universe, where the physical constants seem to be precisely calibrated to allow the existence of life, has led some to speculate that this could be evidence of a designed, simulated reality. In theoretical physics, the idea of a digital or pixelated universe where space-time is composed of discrete units rather than being continuous has been proposed as a possible indicator that our universe is a simulation. If we were able to detect a fundamental resolution limit to space-time, much like the pixels on a screen, it could lend credence to the simulation hypothesis. However, there are also significant challenges to the hypothesis from a scientific perspective. For instance, the amount of computational power required to simulate an entire universe, down to the quantum level, would be astronomical. While this might be feasible for a civilization far more advanced than ours, it raises questions about the practicality and necessity of such a simulation. Additionally, the hypothesis is currently unfalsifiable, meaning it cannot be tested or proven within our current understanding of science, making it more of a philosophical proposition than a scientific theory. So what are the criticisms and counter-arguments? Critics of the simulation hypothesis offer several counter-arguments. One common critique is that the hypothesis is based on anthropocentric assumptions. Essentially, it projects human technological aspirations onto hypothetical advanced civilizations. Just because we are fascinated by simulations and virtual realities does not necessarily mean that an advanced civilization would be equally interested in creating simulations of their ancestors or other life forms. Another criticism is that the simulation hypothesis risks falling into the trap of infinite regress. If our reality is a simulation, what's to say that the beings who created our simulation aren't themselves living in a simulated reality? This leads to an endless chain of simulated realities, with no clear resolution or base reality. Furthermore, the hypothesis faces ethical and moral implications. If we are living in a simulation, what does that say about the creators? Would they be ethically responsible for the suffering and injustices within the simulated world? And if so, does this imply that they are indifferent or even malevolent? Finally, the lack of empirical evidence for the simulation hypothesis means that it remains speculative. While intriguing, the hypothesis does not offer testable predictions or falsifiable claims, which are essential components of a scientific theory. And if this hypothesis is true, what are the implications? If the simulation hypothesis were true, the implications would be staggering. First and foremost, it would fundamentally alter our understanding of reality. The knowledge that our universe is a simulation would challenge the basis of many philosophical, religious, and scientific beliefs. From a philosophical perspective, the discovery would raise questions about the nature of existence and consciousness. Are we simply data points in a vast computational system? Or is there something more to our consciousness that transcends the simulated environment? Religions might interpret the creators of the simulation as gods or divine beings, responsible for the creation and maintenance of the universe. This could lead to a new form of theology or spiritual practice centered around the worship or understanding of these creators. Scientifically, if we could communicate with or study the creators of the simulation, it could open up entirely new fields of inquiry and technology. Understanding the nature of the simulation could allow us to manipulate or hack it, potentially giving us control over the laws of physics, time, and space within our universe. Moreover, if we are in a simulation, it might also mean that our reality is not fixed. Just as we can modify and update software, the creators of our simulation might have the ability to alter our reality at will. This could lead to phenomena that appear miraculous or inexplicable within our current understanding of the world. The simulation hypothesis is one of the most fascinating and provocative ideas in contemporary philosophy and science. While it remains speculative and unproven, it challenges our assumptions about reality, consciousness, and the nature of existence itself. Whether or not we are living in a computer-generated reality, the very act of considering this possibility forces us to think more deeply about the world around us and our place within it. As we continue to explore the limits of technology and human knowledge, the simulation hypothesis will likely remain a topic of intense debate and curiosity. Whether it ultimately proves to be true or false, it serves as a powerful reminder of the mysteries that still lie at the heart of our existence and the importance of questioning even our most fundamental assumptions. Thank you for joining us on this philosophical journey. If you enjoyed this exploration into the simulation hypothesis, please like, share, and subscribe to Philosophical Footprints for more thought-provoking content. Remember, the path to understanding is never-ending, and every step leaves a footprint on the journey of the mind. What is real? How do you define real? If you're talking about what you can feel, what you can smell, what you can taste and see, then real is simply electrical signals interpreted by your brain.